I really loved Ariel, and the first things that I wanted to learn how to draw were Ariel and Flounder, so then I became really good at drawing mermaids. My name is Carly Glickman. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, and I am 19 years old. Since I was little, I've always done art. I remember in preschool, it's how I made friends, because girls asked me to do mermaid drawing lessons. Weirdly, I could always color in the lines at an early age, and I think that being kind of good at something obviously fueled me to want to do it more. Most of my memories creating art as a child are in school with kids, making drawings for kids, because I could do cartoons and stuff, and they loved that. And I think that it was more of a way for me to feel socially wanted and liked. Growing up, one of my neighbors, her name was Mrs. Roman, she was a really cool lady. She was elderly. She would always have me over for art lessons. And it was just a fun, special thing that I would do with her. And I really looked up to her a lot. She was an artist herself, and she had all of her paintings all around her home. I think that started when I was around 4. And then when I was 6 years old, my best friend, Emma, passed away, which was really weird. I didn't really know what death was, and I think it was just a hard time for me as such a young child to go through that. And my mom took me to an art therapist, and I just remember, I think she gave me exercises and ways to express myself and how I was feeling, because I didn't know what death was, expressing that feeling of loss through art. And I just stuck with it. I loved that therapeutic release from such a young age. It wasn't something that I could really give up. It became sort of a part of who I was. I had a kind of a very different childhood while having the most normal childhood at the same time. I grew up in a middle-class family. Everything was from the outside looked great. But like I said, I dealt with 5 deaths very close to me, people who are very, very close to my heart before age 13, which was super weird. And I didn't really know how to cope or deal with that. And I think that it wasn't really addressed in the right way. And it kind of just left me feeling sad for a long time. I wasn't happy. Weirdly, I literally don't know why. I didn't love myself. I had a horrible relationship with my mother. I don't know. And because I didn't love myself, I didn't do anything for myself, as in I didn't try in school. I don't know. There was just nothing to be proud of for me until sophomore year of high school. I hated the way I looked, I hated the way I talked, everything about myself I just heavily criticized, which was really, really hard for a long time. In high school, I went to my art class as often as I went to math, because I was in AP art, so I would have that hour of release throughout the day where I could just go and think freely, create, be creative and express myself. And I think that that was probably the happiest time in my life, looking back at it, because it just the feeling of that made me feel so confident and just kind of whole and well-rounded as a person. And I do think that art got me out of that sort of just toxic mindset of self-loathing, and I don't know, it just taught me how to love myself. And then from there, once that step took place, everything else kind of just fell in line. Art makes me appreciate beauty in a different way. Even just the way I view people, everybody is drawn to, likes to look at people who are pretty or attractive, but then those generic, beautiful people are not who I would want to paint. I find people who have interesting facial features or stuff that don't fit into that generic pretty mold to be what's most beautiful about my art and the portraits that I want to create, A way that art's changed the way I look at life is just, I don't know, you can derive beauty from anything. You wouldn't look at this pencil and find it beautiful, and then if you put it in like a cool setting with really dope lighting, and then decided to like amp that up with I don't know, like, you know what I mean? If you really want to, like, you can make beauty out of anything. I think there's just something about the face that I find so beautiful. Every portrait is just so different because you don't really find any two people that look alike. Being able to draw pictures of people that I love is just fun because I feel like I connect with the subject and what I'm creating in like such like a deeper manner. Creating and like being proud of pieces kind of started this ball rolling for me when stuff started getting putting up in hallways, and then I made like, I was chosen, a piece of art that I created was chosen for the cover of Retrospect, which is our school magazine that there's like this huge release for. It was really cool. It was announced in an assembly, and it was just like this feeling of like, wow, I'm like really doing something like that like I'm proud of and people are proud of me. And you know, when I really like put all of my effort and energy into something, like the possibility to create something awesome is there. And then I just kind of like became like addicted to that feeling and was creating every day, and then applied that same kind of mentality to like all of my classes. Like, you get out what you put into anything. And like I was putting so much into art and getting so much out of it, and then I decided to do the same thing with my academics and my sports. I was lacrosse captain, and then with my family and my friends. I don't know, it's just like, it really did like transform my life as a whole because of my change in effort. I think that my inspiration in life is my mom, just because like she is such a strong person and has been through so much and is like the happiest, kindest, like sweetest human that I know. And like, I don't know, I think that she is, I don't know, like she's just been through so much. She's from Mexico City and basically like grew up, raised like 3 kids on her own. You know, like she didn't sign up for that. And then like still willingly like was like the best mom to me and my sister ever. Like put herself through college. Like it's like I feel guilty for how easy I have it compared to her, and I just respect her like an immense amount I can't even like describe. My inspiration in art is definitely my, we called it varsity art in high school, but it was AP art. My art teacher, we called him JMO, but his name's Jamie Morris. And the way that he like just made all of us feel was, I don't know, he would just blast Led Zeppelin, and like if we asked a question about anything that we were doing, he would just come at us with like the most random answers. And it just like, he wasn't a conventional teacher. We wouldn't sit down, he wouldn't give us assignments. He wouldn't like abide by like the rules of color, the rule of thirds, like none of that. Like I don't know. He was just like artist freedom of expression, paint and draw what you want, what you feel. That's how I feel art should be. I don't think it should be what you read in like a drawing 101 book. I think that it can be whatever you want it to be. And that's what he taught me. I think that everything happens for a reason. Everybody who's in my life has a specific purpose, and I want to serve like an equal or even like greater like purpose or like service to them in their life if I can. The way that yoga makes me feel like I can breathe is the same way that I feel when I'm just sitting here creating. Like I'm thinking about nothing else because I'm able to just focus on this, which is like so awesome because I can't even fall asleep at night most of the times. My brain is so full of thoughts and like mumble jumble, just like going. And like art and yoga are 2 times where I know that I can just like exist and like breathe and not be all congested. I really want to be a pediatric art therapist just because I don't know, I weirdly have always loved hospitals and like I love children. I think it would be really awesome to be a pediatric art therapist employed at a hospital working to like help terminally ill children like go through chemotherapy and all that stuff. It's so taxing. I mean, nothing's more depressing than being told that you're dying at an early age. And like right now, art therapy is such like a helpful, popular, and rewarding like field for that purpose. It's also really popular for children who have gone through traumatic events. Like mine was like my best friend's death, and that's why my mom took me to, I think it was a nonprofit, but I hope to go to a 2-year like grad program after I graduate with my bachelor's from here. Might change, but I can't really imagine doing something professionally that didn't have to do with art or being creative, just because I would lose my mind sitting in a cubicle. Like I'm just so not that person.